Let's have a quick conversation about Spocket versus Modalyst. Which one is really better? Because a lot of folks talk about a lot of things, but they have no idea what they're speaking about. So let's quickly do this comparative analysis here. So here's an overview. So when you think about Spocket versus Modalyst, you need to understand that it's all about the pros and cons. So let's quickly go through it. So when you think about Spocket, what are the pros? You have 80% of suppliers that are located in the US or EU. So you have fast shipping here. You have branded invoicing, and Spocket works with many different e-commerce platforms. You can order samples in a few clicks, and Spocket also has a feature that allows you to find winning products. You can chat with your suppliers directly, and you have a system of automated order fulfillment. So this is really great. So that's for the pros when you think about Spocket. What about the cons? The Spocket doesn't offer, as the data does show, print-on-demand service, so you don't have print-on-demand services through Spocket. And dropshipping with Spocket requires a paid monthly pricing plan, which is not really cheap either. So it's important to really keep that in mind. What about Modalyst here? So what are the pros and cons of Modalyst? So on Modalyst, you can sell existing brands. There is no monthly fee for fewer than 25 listed products. And you can do print on demand with Modalyst, not a problem at all. Modalyst is really great when it comes to fashion, by the way, though. And this is like its pros and cons as well. So let's talk about the cons of Modalyst. So Modalyst is mainly focused on fashion products. Modalyst does charge you a relatively high transaction fee for each order. And the most expensive pricing plan is required to access the collection of premium suppliers. And so what we have seen in the last few months is that Modalyst has been receiving quite some negative reviews from disappointed customers recently. So it is what it is. So just be aware of that. And what I want to say in general here is that Modalyst is going to be there for you. They will work with you. They will help you just get the word out. And but the bottom line here is that Modalyst is mainly on fashion. So if you are interested in fashion, this is great for you. If not, you might want to think about another dropshipping supplier. So when you really think about those two players here, let me give you a few examples of which app to choose. So Spocket is really an excellent choice if, let's say, you want a dropshipping app that allows you to dropship with EU and US suppliers, and an app that greatly reduces your shipping times and you don't mind paying a bit extra for it. And if you run a dropshipping store on Shopify or any other popular e-commerce platform, you will love Spocket. If you want to give your store a bit more of a branded feel by using Spocket's branded invoicing feature, this is kind of cool, especially if you are selling to customers in multiple countries, and you're trying to establish a brand, you're trying to establish a business, you're trying to establish a company. And Spocket also could be a great choice for you if you are looking for a supplier that offers the automated order fulfillment feature. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a big pleasure to have you here. We're having a quick convo about Spocket versus Modalyst here. So I've spoken to you about Spocket. Now let's talk about Modalyst. By the way, Modalyst is now part of Wix, though, the website builder. So it's important to know that as well. So Modalyst, in our view, is an excellent choice if you want to start an online store in the fashion niche, if you want to create a print-on-demand store, if you don't want to pay any monthly fees for your dropshipping supplier, and if you want to sell products from established brands or on your online store. So this is kind of cool. Now, one thing you need to be aware of is that even though Modalyst doesn't charge you a pricing plan, like it doesn't require that you have a pricing plan if you sell less than 25 items. They still charge you anyway when it comes to transaction fees. So they make their money either way. So either you actually pay your dues through the monthly fees, or you pay through transaction fees. The bottom line here is that if you really close your eyes and you have to decide, think about fashion versus non-fashion. Think about fashion versus branded choice. Spocket allows you to cover all kinds of niches. It allows you to brand your company. Modalyst is great for fashion, among other things, but fashion most importantly. What's the suitability here? Let's talk about suitability. So what would you mind, like what would you need Spocket or Modalyst for your dropshipping store? It's important to have a clear idea because, you got to really ask yourself, remember, as a dropshipper, you sell products you don't have in stock, right? Once a customer places an order, you forward it to your dropshipping supplier who then ships the products directly to your customer. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward too. But the supplier, the dropshipping supplier that you choose plays an important role in your arsenal. But by the way, boss, let me quickly remind you of today's topic before we actually go further. So we are having a quick comparative analysis between Spocket and Modalyst. So we're doing a Spocket versus Modalyst review here. So the thing is that some of the tasks that you will come across when dropshipping include finding products to sell, because hey, listen, you're going to have to make sure that your products are going to sell, because otherwise you can't just go ahead and just pick random products. If you do this, your revenue will tank. You will not going to get the growth that you need, and even worse, you're gonna have existing customers leave your store in droves. So finding products to sell is an important element when you are dropshipping. You also need to upload those products to your online store. So remember, when we talk about online stores, you have two setups. You can have your own online store on an e-commerce platform such as Shopify, Big Cartel, Wix, GoDaddy, BigCommerce, WooCommerce. So that's if you host it yourself. Or you can just sell on an e-commerce marketplace. Here we're speaking about Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Walmart, and so on and so forth. And so some tasks that you might have to do if you do dropshipping includes also buying products from your supplier to fulfill your customer's order. That's called order fulfillment. So you also need to think about managing your product stock levels to ensure you're not offering products that are sold out. You need to update the tracking numbers and other order statuses for your orders. So listen, the thing is that these are things that a dropshipping supplier platform like Spocket or Modalyst can either automate or make a lot easier. You don't have to do this manually yourself. So using Spocket or Modalyst will save you a lot of time on this task, which you can then spend on things like making your store more unique, or let's say developing the perfect pricing strategy. Let me quickly go a little granular here. Let's first talk about Spocket. So what is really Spocket? So Spocket, when you close your eyes and you think about Spocket, I want you to think about a platform that allows you to connect with dropshipping suppliers. So instead of heading to a global platform like AliExpress to find your dropshipping products, you can find them on Spocket. That's because Spocket allows you to browse through many high quality products offered by verified dropshipping suppliers. You won't often come across these products on other platforms. And Spocket also has products in a variety of niches. Okay. And so the great thing about Spocket is that its suppliers usually have local warehouses in the US or Europe, so you can achieve much quicker shipping times. So this is really good. In terms of pricing, I want you to look right now on the screen. In terms of pricing, you can see that Spocket has 4 categories of pricing plans. They have the free, the starter, the pro, and the enterprise. So they call it Empire. And so it is what it is. So one thing I want to say here is that you can even get a 14-day free trial on Spocket. So the price goes from $0 for the free to $39.99 all the way to $99.99. And so it is what it is now. Those were actually the prices as of the date of this show. So prices keep changing all the time. So by the time you're watching this show, maybe the price might have changed or something else. So, but one thing you need to understand that 80% of Spocket's suppliers are located in the US or EU. So this is a great competitive edge. Like it's a great competitive edge here because see, your shipping time on Spocket will be much faster compared to drop shipping with a supplier on AliExpress. Because if you target the right markets, your products will already be in the same country as your customer. Therefore, you may cut your delivery time, let's say, from 2 to 4 weeks to 3 to 4 days, which is huge. Secondly, the overall quality The product quality will be better than on a platform like AliExpress, as the manufacturing standards in Western countries, and we all know it's just those standards are much more stricter, or much stricter. So you also have branded invoicing, and we love the fact that Spocket can be integrated with many different e-commerce platforms. So you have Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, Wix.com, Squarespace, Ecwade. You have also Square, you have FedEx. You have a lot of players here. So you also you have the ability to order samples through Spockets. So basically, so even though you'll be working with exclusive suppliers, buying samples from Spocket is really simple. So you simply head over to the product page you're interested in. There you will see a button to order samples, and this is kind of cool. In terms of finding winning products, it's just fantastic also, because one of Spocket's new features is the winning products section. That means it's now a competitor to some of the top product research tools out there. You will see on the left hand side when logged into your Spocket account, and you will see a lot of things. You will see Spocket's best sellers that ship from the US or Europe, so you can choose. And this is really good. And those winning products are released weekly. So this is really fantastic. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having Spocket versus Modalyst review here. We're doing a comparative analysis, so we are on the same page when it comes to Spocket dropshipping versus Modalyst dropshipping. And through Spocket, you're able to chat with your suppliers directly. Okay, so some platforms connecting you to dropshipping suppliers like to stand between you and the supplier. In other words, they don't allow you to talk to the supplier directly. But luckily, that's not the case for Spocket, because it has a feature that allows you to chat with your supplier directly. So this is just fantastic. You also have automated order fulfillment, so you're able to get things done faster. The only thing is, remember, with Spocket, you don't have a print-on-demand services. Okay, something that Spocket has to really work on. Right now, they don't have it, and the pricing plans are not suited for beginners with I would say a small budget. I mean, because when you think about it, you're looking at the what, $39.99 all the way to $99.99, and that's per month. So every single month you're gonna have to pay that. And so yeah, if you are a beginner and you're still struggling to constitute a decent budget, I would advise you to look for other players, not Spocket for sure. And one thing I also want to say here is that Spocket actually tend to be on that, like, because see, their dropshipping suppliers are in Europe and the US, so their prices are a little high also. Let me now talk to you about Modalyst. So when you think about Modalyst, what is really Modalyst? So Modalyst is a genuine US dropshipping supplier as well as print-on-demand supplier. And so Modalyst makes it simple for a dropshipping store owner to source, list, and sell all kinds of products stored in the US. That's a really important element here. So while Modalyst is known for its vast collection of fashion niche and print-on-demand products, it also offers products in other niches. Okay, and so let's talk about the pricing here. I want you to see on the screen here. You can see that the Modalyst has a very simple pricing structure. So you have the hobby, which costs you nothing, to the startup, and you have the pro. So the startup is the most popular, not because Modalyst is saying it, but that's what we have seen also in our analysis. And this is kind of cool. But just remember, you can use Modalyst for free as long as you keep your number of products under 25. So for stores with a higher number of products, Modalyst pricing plans include a startup plan of $35 and a pro plan of $90 per month. And this is kind of cool. And so on Modalyst, you can actually sell existing brands. This is kind of cool because suppliers on Modalyst sell products from all kinds of popular brands, including Calvin Klein, Jacob Cohen, and Dolce & Gabbana. So, and selling popular brands is a safe bet because customers are likely already familiar with the products and positively associated with the brand. So this is kind of cool. And this can also help increase sales and boost your reputation as a reliable online store. And you can sell print-on-demand products. This is really good. And so if you like, you can start a print-on-demand business using Modalyst. This is really, so there are many benefits to selling print-on-demand products, and it's really great. And you just outsource the whole thing to a third party. This is really good, such as Printify or Printful. And if you have, just don't forget, if you have fewer than 25 unique products listed on your store, you can use Modalyst and get unlimited sales without ever having to pay monthly membership fees. So this is just fantastic. Now, one thing that's important to remember here is that Modalyst is mostly focused on fashion. So you're going to have like mostly fashion products. So if you were planning to start dropshipping products in one of the best dropshipping niches, such as, let's say, the pet niche or whatever, Modalyst wouldn't give you the most extensive range of products to choose from. That's because the two biggest product categories on Modalyst are women's and men's fashion. Okay, so it is what it is. And you also have a high transaction fee because Modalyst will charge you, check this out, a 5% transaction fee per order they offer, which is higher than the industry average. I mean, this is really, it is what it is. And also, Modalyst has premium suppliers. But the thing is, to access those Modalyst premium suppliers, you must pay $90 per month for the Pro plan, which is relatively expensive because when you think about it, if you're just starting and you have not built your reputation yet as a very successful e-commerce entrepreneur, paying $90 a month, that's really huge. That's really huge. And one thing I also want to say here is that you have to think about what really matters to your store. And so what matters to your store, you got to ask yourself, am I interested in the fashion industry? Like, would I actually be able to sell? And like, everything has to start with you choosing the fashion industry in the first place before even considering using Modalyst. Because otherwise, let's say if you're doing business, like if you are selling business clothing, okay, let's say you're selling business clothing, you may find Modalyst to be interesting, but you may find other platforms also. So bottom line here is that, consider a Spocket if you want to deliver other stuff. You want to also, let's say you want to portray a better image of your store, a better image of your, because Modalyst also gives you a better image, but Spocket does a way better job, especially when they have your branded invoicing. So this is kind of cool. So bottom line here is that make sure that you make your choice depending upon your needs. And it doesn't matter if you are small, if you're a new dropshipper or an existing dropshipper, you can always switch. As a matter of fact, it's great to switch, to constantly analyze your situation and switch. So let's do a quick recap here. So Spocket or Modalyst, which one? It really depends. Remember, Spocket is a dropshipping platform with 80% of its suppliers in the US or Europe. So it's a great choice if you need a supplier with a huge product catalog, fast shipping times, and automated order fulfillment. Simple as that. By contrast, Modalyst is a dropshipping and print-on-demand platform with most of its suppliers in the US. You should pick Modalyst over a Spocket if you want to build a print-on-demand store or a dropshipping store in the fashion niche. So both Spocket and Modalyst have pros and cons, and so those are really things that you need to know about. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just giving you a quick recap. We spoke about the overview, the suitability, Spocket and Modalyst, and God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.